precisely 6:45. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Sabrina Zawahir. First, the headlines. Senior journalist Mohan Samranayaka says that the alleged human rights allegations in Geneva against the Sri Lankan military forces are baseless. Indian and Afghanistan leaders extend best wishes on the 73rd anniversary of the Sri Lankan Independence Day. The number of Sri Lankan COVID-infected persons surpassed 65,000. Death toll increased to 330. 18-month-old baby is among them. Around 120,000 persons in the country have been vaccinated so far. The 100th Ratana Sutra chanting organised by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation will take place this evening from Hunupitiya Gangarama Viharaya. Swarna Mahal Financial Services to repay 50% of remaining deposits to depositors from today. And in world news, medics to strike as anger at military grows against Myanmar coup. UK national inspiration Captain Sir Tom Moore dies due to COVID-19. Now the local news in detail. Senior journalist Mohan Samranayaka says that the alleged human rights allegations in Geneva against the Sri Lankan military forces are baseless. There are no proven evidences against these allegations. He added that those have passed by the UN Human Rights Council to punish the Sri Lankan military forces with the needs of the powerful countries. He added that backing of the Tamil diaspora and other elements are behind these allegations. These allegations is merely a political need, and there are so many other hidden agendas behind this, he added. Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani extending his best wishes to his Sri Lankan counterpart for the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on the 73rd anniversary of the Sri Lankan Independence Day, looking forward to further expansion of growing bilateral relations to encompass all areas of mutually beneficial cooperation. In a congratulatory message to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, President Ghani, on behalf of the people of Afghanistan, extended his sincere congratulations and best wishes on the occasion of the 73rd anniversary of the Independence Day of the friendly country of Sri Lanka. He said the people of Afghanistan have firmly embraced democracy and continue to fight extremism and terrorism. These dangerous threats not only destabilize my country, but also pose a common threat to peace and stability in the whole region, President Ghani noted. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi extending congratulations to his Sri Lankan counterpart to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa on the occasion of the 73rd anniversary of the Independence Day of Sri Lanka, wished the strong ties between the two nations would be further cemented in the years to come. In his message to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated the shared deep-rooted millennia-old ties based on shared linguistic, religious and cultural traditions. He underlined the cooperation between the two nations over the past year, including in the joint fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. He further wished that the strong ties between the two nations would be further cemented in the years to come and contribute to the progress and common prosperity of our people. The High Commission said that the congratulatory letter is in continuation of regular interactions between India and Sri Lanka at the leadership level, which has resulted into significant strides in the field of development, cooperation, trade and economic ties, people-to-people contacts despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, 761 individuals have tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. Accordingly, the number of coronavirus infections in the country increased to 65,344. All 361 individuals were linked to the Minuangoda Paliagoda cluster. COVID-19 recoveries earlier increased to 59,043, with 968 persons recovering and discharged during the past 24 hours. 5,978 persons are receiving treatment for coronavirus at 65 facilities across the country, while 1,248 suspected COVID-19 cases are also under medical observation at present. The coronavirus vaccine has been given to 23,217 persons yesterday, and 118,767 persons have vaccinated in the country so far. Sri Lanka confirmed 7 deaths on Tuesday due to COVID-19, raising the death toll from the viral disease to 330, according to health authorities. The Director General of Health Services confirmed the following deaths caused by COVID-19 virus infection, and accordingly the total number of deaths due to COVID-19 infection in Sri Lanka is 330 by now. Among the deceased, there is an 18-month-old boy from Colombo 2 area. He was being treated at Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital and died on February 1, 2021. The leading cause of death is COVID pneumonia. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says that the repayment of 50% of the remaining deposits of the Swarna Mahal Financial Services PLC to depositors will commence today. The Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka allowed the Swarna Mahal Financial Services to resume for a limited time on a conditional basis only for the purpose of repayment up to 50% of the remaining deposits of the company under the supervision of the panel of management appointed by the Monetary Board. Repayments will be made only at the head office branch of SFSP at number 5, Aredimel Mawatha, Colombo 4, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on allocated dates. The respective depositors will be informed of the instructions to be followed through letters and telephone calls by SFSP. The depositors are requested to come to the head office branch of SFSP on the allocated dates relevant to the respective branches as given below, with the following documents to collect the checks relevant to the repayment. With that, we conclude the local news. The main news story follows.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The 100th Ratana Sutara chanting organised by the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation takes place this evening from Hunupitiya Gangarama Viharaya. The Ratana Sutara chanting will be held under the guidance of Venerable Kirinde Assajithera. It will be broadcast at 6:30 p.m. over SLBC's Sinhala Commercial Service, City FM and regional services. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
In Watchlight, the newly elected office bearers of the Sri Lanka Foreign Service Association met the Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena recently at the Ministers' Bureau of the Foreign Ministry. A number of key areas, including the ways in which they can contribute to the development process of the country and the key challenges faced by the Sri Lanka Foreign Service officers, have been discussed during this meeting. President of the association, Vishwanatha Ponso, highlighted key areas that the Foreign Service can actively involve in the context of generating the goodwill among the Sri Lankans residing overseas and thereby solicit their support to the development of the country. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
The headlines of the world news. Myanmar coup medics to strike as anger at military grows. Iran allows crew of seized South Korean tanker to leave. Captain Sir Tom Moore, national inspiration, dies with COVID-19. Now the world news in detail. Resistance to Monday's army takeover in Myanmar is growing, with residents of the biggest city, Yangon, banging pots and pans and honking car horns. Medical staff in several major cities are planning strikes, while activists are calling for a campaign of civil disobedience. However, correspondents say the military appears firmly in control. Calls are growing for the release of elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi, who has not been seen since her detention. Over 100 lawmakers had been confined by the military in their accommodation in the capital of Naypyidaw, but have now been told they can leave. The military took power in the early hours on Monday and declared a year-long state of emergency after accusing Ms. Suu Kyi party of fraud over its recent election win. Iran is allowing all crew members of the South Korean flag tanker it seized in the Gulf a month ago to leave the country except for the captain. A foreign ministry spokesman said 19 of the Hancock Chemi sailors would be released on humanitarian grounds following a request from Seoul. He also said South Korea had agreed to try to speed up the unfreezing of $7 billion in Iranian funds in its banks. South Korea's foreign ministry said the move would help restore trust. Iranian forces detained the Hancock Chemi near the strategic Strait of Hormuz on the 4th January, accusing it of causing environmental pollution. Captain Sir Tom Moore has died with coronavirus. The 100-year-old, who raised almost 33 million sterling pounds for NHS charities by walking laps in his garden, was admitted to Bedford Hospital on Sunday. The Queen led tributes to Captain Sir Tom, recognizing the inspiration he proved for the whole nation and others across the world. His daughters said they shared laughter and tears with their father in their final few hours together. Announcing his death, Hannah Ingram Moore and Lucy Texera said the last year of their father's life had been nothing short of remarkable. He tested positive for COVID-19 last week. His family said due to other medication he was receiving for pneumonia, he was unable to be vaccinated. With that, we conclude the world news. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the world news once again. Myanmar coup medics to strike as anger at military grows. Iran allows crew of seized South Korean tanker to leave. Captain Sir Tom Moore, national inspiration, dies with COVID-19. With that, we conclude the world news. The development news follows.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In development news, the Elphinstone Theatre and Town Hall Theatre have been allowed to reopen subject to health guidelines. The Government Information Department said that the Director General of Health Services has given the approval. Permission has been granted to reopen and operate in line with the guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. The Director General of Health Services has emphasized on the need to pay close attention to facts such as maintaining personal distance, maintaining respiratory etiquette, washing hands frequently, and wearing face masks. That ends development news. Next up is the sports news. Taking a look at the sports news, first is cricket. Australia have pulled out of their tour of South Africa on February and March because of coronavirus concerns. The teams were due to play 3 tests subject to biosecure protocols being agreed. Cricket Australia said it had no choice because of the situation in South Africa, where a more contagious variant of the virus has been reported. It means New Zealand have qualified for the inaugural World Test Championship final in England this summer. Next in sports news, it's soccer. Manchester United equalled the Premier League record by putting 9 goals past 9-man Southampton, the second time Saints have lost 9-0 in as many seasons. A red card for Saints Alexander Janvich after only 2 minutes triggered a complete collapse for the visitors, who were on the end of the same score line against Leicester City in October 2019. It is the only third time a team has lost 9-0 in the Premier League, with United also beating Ipswich Town by that margin in 1995. That ends sports news. Next up is the business news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is to step down as chief executive of the e-commerce giant that he started in his garage nearly 30 years ago. He will become executive chairman, a move he said would give him time and energy to focus on his other ventures. Mr. Bezos, the world's richest man, will be replaced by Andy Jassy, who currently leads Amazon's cloud computing business. The change will take place in the second half of 2021, the company said. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The 55th annual summit of the Asian Development Bank will be conducted in Colombo in May 2022. The governing board of the ADB has granted approval to conduct the proposed summit in Sri Lanka from 2nd to the 5th of May 2022. The Cabinet has approved the resolution submitted by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in his capacity as the Finance Minister to formulate a plan on the necessary actions to conduct the annual summit of the ADB. Approval has also been granted to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the ADB in this regard. Approximately 3,000 to 4,000 participants will be gracing the summit, consisted of more than 30 ministers of finance from the member countries, governors of the central banks, executive officers from major international banks and companies, local and foreign, distinguished guests and journalists. That ends Economic News.
Congratulations on your promotion. Heard you gave a treat for everyone in your department yesterday.
Yeah.
When will be our treat, huh?
Well, how about today?
Oh no, I was just joking. We'll have a party with your new salary.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. Several spells of showers will occur in northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in Matale and Nuwara Eliya districts. Fairly heavy falls, about 50 millimeters, can be expected at some places in Uva province and in Matale and Nuwara districts. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected in northern, north central and eastern provinces and in the eastern slopes of central hills. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in western and Sabaragamo provinces and in Gaul and Mathura districts after 1 p.m. Fairly heavy falls, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places. Misty conditions can be expected in western, central, Sabaragamo and southern provinces during the morning. That was the weather report, and prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. Senior journalist Mohan Samranayaka says that the alleged human rights allegations in Geneva against the Sri Lankan military forces are baseless. Indian and Afghanistan leaders extend best wishes on the 73rd anniversary of the Sri Lankan Independence Day. The number of Sri Lankan COVID-infected persons surpassed 65,000. Death toll increased to 330. 18th-month-old baby is among them. Around 120,000 persons in the country have been vaccinated so far. The 100th Ratana Sutara chanting organised by SLBC will take place this evening from Hunupitiya Gangarama Viharaya. Swarna Mahal Financial Services to repay 50% of remaining deposits to depositors from today. With that, we conclude the news.